Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. Just a moment here, got the screen share going on. So yesterday's session continuing in a little bit of a decline overall. It's actually a fairly steady progression lower. This was yesterday's session, of course. Until going into the close, then things got a little crazy, bouncing back and forth. The overnight, just more of the same, and a little bit of a rally up. So here we are faced with a little bit of an overnight uptrend, a little bit of a gap below the market. But if we take yesterday's session in consideration, we're more or less in a downtrend. We'll see how the market responds today, which way they might be leaning. But so far, it looks like we might be in for a bit of a bear market. If you're looking to take the chance on a sell, well, we've got a late filter entry here right out of the gate with the Falcon. And the Raptor is working a very early cloud crossover signal. That's the #1 signal. It just printed right there. What you could do, I suppose, is you could do a second push entry. The second push entry simply means we allow the signal to engage. We see where the market flinches, and then we place our entry. So it looks like that would have worked out not too badly, actually. Okay, now the Raptor is going to produce the proper cloud crossover signal. The Falcon going to produce a trend line touch signal. Here, we'll simulate it here on the Raptor. Oh, if they don't run away on me. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's redo that. Oh, darn it. Okay. Stinkers. They're moving around. I'm not used to the volatility. They're moving around a little bit too fast on me. But here now the proper cloud crossover signal. And we should see the market trade a little bit lower, try to get into that gap from the overnight. What I wanted entry here or just below the low, but of course the chart is hopping around a little bit. I should have frozen the chart so it wouldn't move on me. By the way, if the chart is bouncing around like that, because it resizes itself, if you pull here on the left click on the price axis, it will lock the chart so that you can set up your trade correctly. And you can see the market did head lower, and find our profit target. Alternatively, what you can do is you can just hit the sell market button. That will work too. All right, let's clear that. The Falcon and Hawk signals both reaching their objectives as well. So a pretty good start to the day. I think we can safely say the market is in a downtrend today. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. After a quick little sell-off, it looks like the buyers have dug in a little bit. Okay, back now to the hard edge of the trading band. And this is where we expect the market to give us some sort of reaction when it encounters the hard edge. The Hawk, look at this, the Hawk and the Falcon already turning bullish. The Raptor is going to give us a number 2 signal. I don't know if I want to try buying already. Let's take a look here at the Falcon now. So it looks like we've got a little bit of a downtrend. Now we're coming back with a counter trend. Wow, what a lot of volatility here this morning. Okay, here on the Raptor, we're going to get that number 2 signal. That's the counter trend signal. And the counter trend signal tends to work better after a number 3 signal that didn't work. Now, the problem with counter trend signals is, well, they're counter trend. You're getting yourself stuck against the trend. You're essentially looking for a new trend to emerge, which may well be the case. But risk-wise, these are always riskier trades than trying to stay with trend. You need to keep that in mind every time you try a counter trend trade. The probabilities are stacked against you. Let's see, do we get any with trend trades? Yeah, here the Falcon is looking a little more with trend. The Eagle, here's your first in sync Eagle signal of the day. And you do have an opportunity for a second push on that one as well. Given the volatility here this morning, I'm not sure I would go in with 2 contracts, however. The market at a little bit of a tipping point. Okay, so we're getting another hard edge sell, and I'm going to delete the counter trend order now because we just got filled here on the Eagle. good downside momentum. Okay, we've got a fair amount of open profit here right now. Looks like we're just about to hit the break even. Hooray. I wonder if I should try to run this one down a little further. Maybe I will. I'm going to cancel my profit order, and I'm going to go with a very aggressive bar high low stop strategy. And we'll see if they give me just maybe a tick or two more. Nope. It was worth a try. I didn't give up that much profit-wise. Oh, might have been just a little bit of bad luck too. My stop may have been just a tick too tight, because it looks like they're starting to head lower again, or trying to anyway. Okay, they're looking maybe a little bit stronger. We're starting to form a little bit more of a bottom. You see that we're getting a little bit more resistance on the bottom. And here now the number 2 signal, the counter trend signal. The hawk, a little bit of a jumbled mess. We're starting to get a lot of yellow bars going on here. Ooh, look at that. Seller's not finished just yet. One more push back to the lows. So, on a day like today, when the market seems to have an obvious trend to it, if you miss one of your initial signals, you can pretty much take any of these follow-up signals. Those would be the signals that don't have a high probability tag associated with them. But if you're just looking for a place to get into the market, if you deem, okay, today is a downtrend, I need a signal to sell, you can take pretty much any of the follow-up sell signals, and you'll probably do okay with them. Okay, it does look like they're getting a little bit sticky now. Well, here we'll look at the Raptor. I know there's a lot of Raptor traders in the room. Note how the momentum is slowing. And an easy way to see this is if you know how normally when we draw trend lines, we draw trend lines across the highs. Well, you can draw a trend line across the lows as well. Do a little connect the dot type of thing. And you get a pretty good visual of a market that might be slowing down, especially if we get another swing around here somewhere. All of a sudden, you're going to recognize that, hey, we're not going down anymore. We're starting to go up. Richard's asking, if the Eagle signal is good for about $200, is that independent of the brick size? Short answer, yes. The long answer is it depends a little bit on the market and the market volatility. For example, we have our stock profit objectives, $50 for the scalp, $100 for the Falcon Swing and the Raptor, and $200 for the Eagle Trend Trader. However, if I'm trading, well, back in the day when I was trading crude oil, because the market is more volatile, and for crude oil to give you a $50 scalp was nothing, so I would double the profit objective. The way crude oil is now, however, I would probably go with the stock objectives. Likewise, if the market is not behaving very well, you can reduce the profit objective. Tony always used to half the profit targets for his Eagle, and sometimes he would even just take a scalp target just so that he'd have the trade profitable, and that seemed to work pretty well for him. So short answer, yes, the Eagle signal has a $200 objective. Long answer, it depends. But if the market is more volatile, go ahead, double the profit target. If the market is not responding, then you may want to consider halving or staying with the stock settings. All right, well, it's starting to look a little more bottomy now. Here's that swing higher that I was just talking about. Let's see if we come back with a number 2 signal. That will be our buy signal here on the Raptor. There it is. Oh, you guys, I should have just hit the buy button. Oh, maybe I'll get it on a limit. We'll see if they look back here a little bit. Nope, they're not going to give it to me. Wow, look at the volatility, two-edged sword. It's nice to see the market moving, but that's twice today. They slipped past me before I could get an order going. All right, are the buyers going to push back now? Maybe. They got a long ways to go to change this market into a bull market, though. Some good follow-up signals here. The Falcon producing the late filter entry / trend change signal. It's too bad the Hawk first micro-macro cross signal got spoiled here. This is actually the first micro-macro cross signal right here. But it looks like it had enough follow-through to hit its profit objective. Oh, a little late here on Julian's comment. Julian said there were some big buyers down here at 67.56. And again, that's evidenced by what's going on in price, right? We saw that coming with our little connect the dot. You could see the momentum shift as the buyers took control, and there was an opportunity for a little bit of a predictable counter trend move, or more predictable counter trend move. We got a 4-arrow consolidation now in the Hawk / macro pullback. So the Hawk still looking bullish. Remember, when the market is trying to change direction, it's like an ocean liner. It needs a little bit of room to turn around. So try not to get too quick on the counter trend moves, expecting a big push higher. I think we will see another move higher. I'm just trying to time it so that I don't end up buying in and then have to endure a great big pullback. The Falcon, note how flat this trend line has gone. This is a pretty good looking late filter entry signal. The filter not in sync yet. And in fact, the trend line trying to change color. I know if this bar finishes bullish and takes out the high, that will turn the filter green again. So you could park an order there. No, signal got spoiled now. The trend line, too many bars with a reddish trend line. Yeah, way to go, Mark. Mark says a guy can make a living just trading that late filter entry signal. He says he took the first one here. Oh, no, wait a minute. This bad boy right here, right out of the gate. There were a couple good ones. There was this one here, this one here, this one right here. Yeah, very reliable signal for the most part. It's one of those signals that you can almost do blindly. You know, you get a late filter entry signal. Yeah, go ahead. Let's take it. I don't know whether we're going to get much push through this early cloud crossover signal, or if I'm expecting the market to make another push at the low. It's not much of a retest after such a strong downtrend, but maybe they kind of broke it up here over the last 10-15 minutes. Ideally, I'd like to see, maybe a little bit of a move. Where's the 50%? 67, 61. Well, it looks like we've already been there. Maybe down here to the support line. 67, 59, 60. That would bring us right back to the median line. Well, see, all I had to do was ask. Okay, this now I would call a proper retest of the extreme. The buyers come back from this could be worth a buy. The Falcon already with a very early counter trend buy. Oh, and here now the Raptor with a buy. Can I cover it down there? Oh, I can too. Now, the Raptor actually produced a cloud crossover signal to short. But I hope you can understand why I might be looking to buy. And that's because we've seen a very quick run down, and now all of a sudden the buyers dug in and said, nope, you're not going any further. So this a very great big number 2 signal. It will not print as a number 2 because of the way the programming is. And you know what? I might extend my profit objective on this one. Let's see if we can't run it up here. And I'll leave my break even at these highs if we can get it. The Hawk working a first micro macro cross higher, the Falcon also doing a trend change signal. So we're getting some confirmation here. The Eagle with a rule of 3 signal to buy. So overall, we're looking a little bit more bullish. Richard's asking if red bar buys and green bar sells are often end of trend signals, would you think to tighten the target or expect the normal target value? Okay, the red bar buy, green bar sell signals at the end of the trend are signals that are unique to the Hawk. I should have actually thought of a different name because the red bar buy, green bar sells on the Eagle tend to be very good with trend signals. Okay, these, when they occur on the Eagle, they do not necessarily denote the end of a trend. They are a continuation signal. It's kind of the seller's way of kicking the sellers in the butt, saying, hey, wake up, the buyers are taking the market away from us. So usually what happens is there will be a decent selling push. If you're referring to the one in the Hawk, however, so we have a green bar sell signal. Would I lessen the profit target? No, because it's only a $50 scalp. I would, if I don't like the way the signal looks, I might reduce my exposure, maybe just throw a onesie on it, see what happens, or just ignore it entirely, right? Remember, we're only looking for a few choice trades throughout the day. If I see a signal that just doesn't look right, even if I can't put my finger on it, if something in my gut says, no, that doesn't look right, let it go. Who cares if it, if it falls off the map and you're not in it? So what? It's not the end of the world. Believe me, you will miss lots of trades. I miss plenty of trades. If you're referring to the green bar sell here on the Eagle, this tends to be a higher probability signal. I would maintain the profit objective because it is a higher probability signal. I would be, at this point, I would be leery of a test of the extreme. So I might be a little bit quicker to take my profit should I have it. So if it comes down and all of a sudden it starts to reverse like this, this would look to me like the market is retesting the lows and it might reverse. So I would definitely take my stops down, maybe even to break even, or just punch out of the trade and take what little profit I would have. Okay, I heard my order fill. How did I do here? Did I get tagged at break even? Oh, I did too. Oh well, better than a losing trade. Better than a kick in the head with a frozen boot, as my uncle always used to say. So that's essentially a wash on that one. Yes, a frozen boot, Scott. My uncle knows how to turn a phrase, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah, like Richard says, better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Yeah, Scott says, not a phrase from Southern California. A frozen boot. No, I would guess not. All right. Decision time for the market. Are they going to head higher? Are they going to head lower? How do I know that? Well, look at what's going on. We got a little bit of a sideways mess here, right? We got the market making a move lower, stalling. Move lower, stalling. Move higher, stalling. Move lower, stalling. Move higher, stalling. They can't quite make up their mind. Keith asking, good morning, Eric. That last late filter entry signal was very weak. Any reason to why? Okay, so Keith is looking at this one right here. Well, it remains to be seen, Keith, if we're going to get the follow through. I think partly it's because the way I just pointed out, the market it's either in transition or the sellers are going to lock it down and it's going to end up in a sideways trading range. Whenever you have what seems like an obvious trend, and I would say this morning, the sellers seem a little bit stronger. Whenever you start taking trades going the other way, well, you're going to need to exercise a certain degree of caution. We don't know whether this signal is going to work out just yet. That's why we need to leave an appropriate stop, right? We need to leave. If you put your stop right here below the signal bar, well, then, it's not going to work. If you place your stop or you give your stop a reasonable amount of room, there's still a chance for the signal to sort itself out. At this point, I would start to roll my stops, however. I would no longer leave my stops here. I would probably bring my stop up to here. And now if I haven't already had a break even, I would bring my stops up to break even. And with a little bit of luck, it will push on through and hit the profit target. So it's a little bit of a balancing act. Oh, come on, get up there. If I were if I didn't have a profit target now and I was trailing a stop, given the choppy nature of the market, I would probably go with a bar high-low strategy, and I would roll bar for bar. Because when the next reversal is probably going to be a little bit more violent. So now I would roll here, at least, you know, keep like 30, 40 bucks. Or you can even roll your profit target down. Instead of $100, you know, for the sake of $10, take $90. And I would have just been stopped out. But the reason it seems weaker to me, Keith, is because of this, the lack of follow through, right? Push lower, it stops. Push lower, it stops. Push higher, it stops. Push lower, it stops. Push higher, it stops. Push lower. And now a push higher, and we're stalling again. So I think it's just kind of the context, the nature. We'll see whether the sellers can get it back together, because this may end up being just a gigantic bear flag. We'll have to see. So we're in wait mode. Okay, so now the sellers pushing back. Now, this could actually be considered a with trend signal on the larger scope. This, even though it's counter trend, it's a number 2 signal, this could be considered a with trend signal on the Raptor because of the gigantic bear flag I just pointed out. The Hawk a little bit messed up here, a lot of yellow bars. The Falcon making an early, trying to make an early trend change signal. No follow through on that just yet. Oh, thanks, Julian says large sell orders sitting at 55 and 60. So we're not the only ones who are viewing the market this way as a great big bear flag. So the eagle, a lot of yellow bars, a slight upward drift. The raptor producing a lot of signals here. This again should give you the heads up that the market is entering a little bit of a sideways or choppy phase. Okay, it looks like you can cancel that order. That's not going to follow through. Yeah, it's interesting where we're at right now. You could almost even bracket the market with an OCO order. The bottom end of the order right here. So when you use your OCO order, remember you're not going to use your parameters down here. It will default to whatever your manual order setting is. In my case, it's a single order. So I'm going to set a sell order down here. And I'm going to set a buy order up here. Now these orders are live once you place them on your chart, so I tend to place them away and then pull them in. And if I have a stop enabled, I will also get a stop when the order fills. So we'll do a little OCO kind of action here. Got the market in a squeeze. I didn't think they'd be able to retrace that much today, especially as strong as the sellers were out of the gate. All right, the Raptor now prompting us with a number 2 signal. So as far as the programming goes, it looks like the sellers are getting a little bit more aggressive. The Hawk still very, very neutral. Lots of yellow bars. Wouldn't be touching the Hawk right now. The Falcon trying another trend change. The filter already out of sync. The follow through, right, on each of these legs, you can just see how the market seems to be fizzling. Okay, look at the size of this push. 1, 2. Good size push, right? Next one, not bad, but a little bit smaller. Next one, oh, a little smaller still. Next one, a little smaller still, until finally you get the one that doesn't, and then you get that one, and in the meantime the market starts doing this, right? Getting bigger moves to the downside. You can do this same kind of bracket idea on any of the charts, but it seems most obvious here on the Raptor. All right, here they go. Oh, let's try that again. So I'm not entirely sure why it did that. I had my stop enabled. So I'll leave my stop up there. Come on down. There they go, dragging their feet again. So this was the bottom end of our little itty-bitty trading range that we identified, and so we're seeing the buyers trying to buy in again. After a quick little break to the short side. Okay, got break even, got the first target, and maybe we'll go with a parabolic type strategy. Parabolic's also fairly aggressive. They do give the market a little bit of room, a little bit more room earlier. That got down there in a hurry. Come on. Julian says there's no big orders on this push. All the big boys have their positions already. Now it's up to us pikers. Come on, one more push lower. And we should get at least back here to the median line, and maybe, well, the low of the day would be very nice. The primary support would be a very ambitious target, but that would definitely be a nice objective. Okay, there's the median line. Probably get a little hiccup around here. Dan says, why not take the profit? Absolutely, Dan. That's entirely your call, right? I'm trying to ride this one out just to see how far I can take it. But yeah, there's no doubt there's a fair amount of profit there. That's why I blank out the P&L. Because I would get nervous. No, absolutely nothing wrong with taking the profit, man. Goodness knows if I was walking down the sidewalk and I saw a $350 bill laying on the sidewalk, I would stop and pick it up. And it's not greed. I'm just trying to. This market has the potential to move a little bit lower because I think the market is in a downtrend today based on what we saw out of the open. Let's go here to the Eagle because it's a little easier to see. Okay, so the market opens up and we get this good move lower. I suspected that this may have just been a bear flag because the buyers kept having trouble moving higher. This point right here was where the buyers should have really put the boots to the sellers, and they should have rallied the market hard. They did. They had a decent rally, but look at how this looks compared to how this looks. Do you see the difference? Do you see the smooth flow, kind of the ebb and flow of the market? Whereas here, you still have the ebb and flow, but look, they're right on top of each other. This does not show you a smooth progression, right? Which again made me think maybe this is nothing more than a great big pullback phase. If it is a great big pullback phase, then the trend is down. Well, in a downtrending market, support means nothing, right? The market breaks support on the way down. So I was thinking rather than take profit on target, maybe the sellers will regain the trend. Maybe they'll take it through the low of the day. Maybe this could develop into something bigger. As it turns out, they only got back down to these intermediate lows where the buyers made their big push, their big stand the last time, which makes sense. But I thought it was worth a try. And yes, I gave up a little bit of open profit by doing so. Looks like I got tagged down here, so not too bad. I probably lost about $100 in open profit by taking that chance. But you know what, folks? At the end of the day, it's your money. I can show you how I might do things, but it's your money. If you're sitting on $400 in open profit, don't let anybody tell you, oh, you should let that ride out. If those $400 are dear to you, take them. Shoot, if the 50 bucks are dear to you, take it. It's profit. We're not doing this for the fun of it. Well, I would hope not. Because there's less expensive hobbies. Certainly less frustrating hobbies. Yeah, like Mark says, fun is secondary. Hey, way to go, Julian. Julian says picked up 100 points on trade to 67.22 yesterday, got out at 67.32. Well done. Yeah, Dan says I can't blank out the profit line just yet. It's again, trading is a very personal thing. Maybe someday I'll be able to watch the P&L tick by and still be able to make a sound decision. And here we are in limbo again, so starting to look like maybe a great big sideways trading range, which would not be unusual after a decent downtrend. Gonna see sellers jumping up here, buyers going to be more aggressive down here. Could have been Well, it is a very good day. I'm just thinking those two trades that I tried to get in that the market was moving just a little bit too quick for me. Could be a four-figure day today. Just being a little picky, a little choosy. So now here on the Raptor, once again, getting a cloud crossover signal. This is going to be a number one signal. Very, very slight pullback. Should see the market try to run up here and retest the highs. Oh, it didn't print. I guess the clouds were not fully crossed as the signal was developing, but you could certainly interpret that as a cloud crossover signal. You do have a chance on a second push entry, covering the trade a little bit more difficult. Stops ideally down here, at least initially. I'm not sure. The market just keeps waffling now, which way it wants to go. Possible late filter entry developing here on the Falcon. Macro pullback on the Hawk. So the Hawk and the Falcon, the Raptor, all three looking bullish. The Eagle just flat, dead neutral. The band keeps flip-flopping, you see. So we don't really have a bias on the Eagle. Trade forecaster says we are in swing mode for about another 15 minutes, then we're moving into scalp mode, and I think the market might be a little ahead of the curve, as it looks like we're getting a lot less follow through. Well, you can see we're just waffling. I'm not sure we're going to get another decent signal here today, folks. We do have another number one signal. This again, you could consider it with trend, with the bigger trend. I'm not going to take it, but there's the setup. You do have a decent second push entry opportunity on that. And you can see the rebound now, which just kind of confirming, I guess, the sideways nature of the market. They should drift lower, I think. I think the overall bias today is probably going to see the market continue lower. We have a green bar sell here in the Eagle, so that also confirming a little bit of a downward bent. Late filter entry signal here on the Falcon, also suggesting maybe prices should head lower. And now a first micro macro cross / 4 arrow consolidation on the Hawk as well. So a few things stacking up. Yeah, or not. No, I think we're just kind of going to see the market continue to move back and forth here. Yeah, well, the little rally here just confirms what we've been seeing. Well, we can, if anybody has any questions, this would be a good time to ask. Scott says, I see a huge compressing wedge. Yep, I can see that. I think he's probably viewing it like this. I think that's probably a pretty good observation, Scott. As we get closer toward these intermediate highs, we should see the sellers try to push the market lower one more time. But overall, it's just a little bit of a tricky kind of day. Well, maybe we'll, oh, I was going to say maybe we'll close up a few minutes early. I honestly don't think we're going to get any decent opportunities here. It looks like I said, the sellers are probably holding off until the market gets back up here around 67, 78, 67, 80. No, they're not gonna do much. All right, gang. I think what we'll do is we'll just button up shop here a little bit early today. If you are going to continue trading today, I do believe the sellers are probably going to push back one more time, and we may end up in a little bit of a sideways trading range, kind of stuck between 67.80 and 67.50 in that neighborhood. Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow then. Bye for now.